Welcome to Brunch with Brian. Great to see you here today. And so we are going to talk about listening today. Listening is a key to being successful. Excuse me, I talked on Tuesday about the 6 keys to great communication. What are one of the greatest keys to great communication is the one that's sort of counterintuitive and a lot of times neglected, and that's being a great listener. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen more and talk less. Are you learning when you're listening, when you're talking? Actually, sometimes you kind of are. You're shaping your ideas as you're explaining them out loud. You're speaking them into existence. So sometimes you can actually be kind of learning and moving forward intelligently, mentally while you're talking out loud. But you're going to learn a lot more generally when you're listening, and especially when you're talking to customers. If that's a key, if you're sitting there listening to them and they're going on, that's usually one of the most productive times in the call. Why? Why is it so important to build rapport? Because you uncover their hot buttons and you make a connection and you build trust. Okay, is anybody going to sell you their house and leave the mortgage in their name for 20 years if they don't trust you? No. So you got to listen. It's amazing how not saying a word, or now here's some keys to being a great listener, some tips to being a great listener. So when you are a great listener, though, the rewards are mighty. Your customers will trust you. Okay, they'll want to do business with you. You'll build that rapport. You'll make that connection. And so, what are some great ways to be a great listener? Okay, here's some tips. Well, first tip is nonverbal communication. Okay, nonverbal communication. When you're listening to somebody, what's your nonverbal communication? If you're in person with them, that's really important. Or if you're on a video chat with them, it's really important that you're maintaining eye contact. I'll tell you, eye contact is one of the best things for listening. If people really feel like they're being listened to and being heard when you're looking at them. Okay, what if someone's talking to you and you're just kind of, what if you're looking at your phone? That's the famously worst thing, right? People are looking at their phones while you're talking to them. Is that the worst nonverbal communication in the world? Yeah. Okay, so what about if you're on the phone with video chat? Same thing, eye contact. Eye contact builds incredible trust and rapport. Okay, eye contact builds rapport. Write that little tip down. So I want to do video chats when I can. I will suggest video chats on the second call. So I want you guys to remember that second call, try to do a video chat. First call, you're getting to know each other. You know, it might be a little presumptuous to say, hey, let's turn on our video. Second call, say, hey, you know what I love doing? I feel like I get to know the folks I talk to better when we can do a video chat. Do you have an iPhone or do you have Android? Okay, remember, if you don't have the same as they do, what do? You download Google Meet. Google Meet. It used to be called Google Duo. Now it's called Google Meet. Okay, so I want you to definitely download that and get that going. So that will enable you to connect with people and always, despite what their phone platform is. So get together with people, give them great nonverbal communication in person, meaning eye contact. And so nonverbal communication is number one tip. Great nonverbal. Lean in a little bit, have a little slight smile on your lips. Those are all nonverbal communications. Don't be drumming your fingers on the desk. Don't do poor nonverbal communication. Try to look engaged. Pretend. And now number two is play the role of a great listener. Okay, we play roles all day long, don't we? What role are you playing right now? You're kind of playing. You're playing engaged student. You're hopefully learning stuff. Plus, you're playing successful real estate investor, and you're playing real estate winner because you're learning key things that will add to your success as a real estate investor. A big sub role to successful real estate investor is good student. How do you think you learn? How do you think we learn? Do we automatically just through osmosis know all the stuff we know about real estate? No, we had to learn it. And so again, a big part of being a successful investor is being a great learner. And being a great learner, part of that's being a good listener. So what are some of the different roles? Remember, when we're talking about our roles, it's a two-word name. And this is what's so crucial. You're naming your roles in a way that you never did before. You're recognizing, what role am I playing right now? Let me think. Okay. When you're on the phone, what role are you playing? Sometimes I play good shepherd role because I'm helping the people through the sales process. I'm pretty good at that role, good shepherd. I love helping people. I love taking care of people. I love easing people's pain. Okay, so now Lynette's not a good shepherd. That's not her ball game. On the phone, you know what she is? She's a focused closer. I love it, focused closer. And she's just focused on getting to the end of that call and getting that appointment and getting those deal points worked out. So how do you approach your closing calls? Are you a focused closer? I'm a focused closer too, don't get me wrong, but I like that good shepherd role to be in that kind and helping kind of engagement. That's the way I like to play that role of being I'm obviously a real estate investor. You know, that's the role I'm playing, but I always choose the adjective. Okay. So the key on controlling your roles is choosing great adjectives. So what are some of the great adjectives we can pick for listener? Curious listener. Okay. How often do you play curious listener? When someone's talking, do you show curiosity? Do you ask follow-up questions? Do you say, oh, that's interesting. So you went on vacation to Idaho? Well, where did you go? Oh, that sounds interesting. So how long was that hike? Like 5 miles? Or, you know, and so what is that? That's a curious listener. Another one is engaged listener. Write that one down. It's another role you can play. Engaged listener. Sympathetic listener. What if someone's pouring their heart out about how they got hurt or someone broke up with them? What kind of a listener do you want to be? Do you want to be a distracted listener, like looking at your phone? No, that's an important time to be a sympathetic listener. So you're playing listener a lot of times during your day. Every time you're talking to people, you know, half the conversation, hopefully, is you listening. Sometimes you talk a lot, you know, on some calls, you're going to talk a lot. You're going to talk a lot more than them. But that crucial part of listening in the beginning, what does that do for you? Identifies hot buttons. So write that down, guys. When you're listening, I should have said this in the beginning. One of the goals of being a good listener is you listen to people and you identify what they're looking for. People will tell you what they want. They're not shy about it. And they'll say, this is what I want. Can you do it? Okay, so with a new romantic interest, okay, so that, you know, they'll have certain expectations. Hey, I want someone who will love me and accept me and come over to my house and, you know, sometimes sleep over and like my kids and there's all different kind of rules on that because everybody has a different, different hot buttons. So when you listen to people, you hear their hot buttons. Dating is a lot of listening. If you're not listening, if you're dating and you're not listening, you're wasting time because you got to listen and say, are we a good match? Are we a match made in heaven? Lynette and I happen to be pretty much a match made in heaven. We're really lucky, but we're very opposite in some ways. It's funny. She's such an action brain. I'm such a thinker brain. Oh my gosh. I was going to try to go short today. I was going to try to go 5 minutes today. It's hopeless. I can't do it. All right, guys. So listening again, your main tips are be good with your nonverbal communication, nonverbal listener. Play the right roles. Think about what role you're playing when you're listening. Are you engaged? Are you curious? Are you focused? You know, all those things are good adjectives. And just remember, be aware of your roles every day and throughout your day. And if you're ever upset or anxious or fearful, identify the role you're in. Why am I anxious? You know, what am I anxious employee? Am I an anxious employee right now because they're talking about layoffs around here? Okay, well, what can I do to address that? Well, maybe I could make my resume and, you know, and have a backup plan just in case. Then I'll be what? I'll be a confident job seeker. I'll switch roles. Instead of being fearful employee, oh no, they might lay me off. I'm going to be a confident new employee at another place. I'm going to be a confident contributor. That's a great one. Are you a confident contributor at your current job? I hope you are confident. Write that one down, guys. That's a good role to play and a good role to think of yourself in. What am I at work? I'm a confident contributor. I contribute in meetings. I contribute a positive mental attitude to my coworkers. I listen. I'm a great listener. I'm a curious listener. I'm an engaged listener. I'm a focused listener. Okay, so when you can play these roles at the drop of a hat, you can say, okay, hey, you know what role I need to play right now? Someone comes to you with tears in their eyes, one of your friends. Okay, what role do you need to go into right now? Okay, sympathetic listener. Okay, and if you don't go into sympathetic listener, if you go into fun friend, you're goofing it up. You're not understanding. Your emotional intelligence is lacking. Okay, so when you see a friend in need, then you go into that sympathetic listener or kind friend, caring friend, those kind of roles. Okay, you can't play caring friend all day. Got to make money, but it's nice to play caring friend when you have friends. Okay. So wow, I talked a lot. Okay. Charles always gives us great comments. Charles, you're awesome. Okay. Always greeting everybody for us. Super. Happy Thursday. Looking forward to a great day. Great tips from Brian. Hi. My voice a little rough, guys. I'm sorry I talked a lot yesterday. I was cheering at the Olympics. Good morning from California, Nolan, Kathy, and Ken, KJ with the hearts. Love it. Good morning, Brian. Being a good listener makes the talker feel good and is an easy way to create rapport. People want to feel listened to. Listening can also be a power move in negotiations. Absolutely. And you know what? Sometimes we say silence is golden. In negotiations, I created a whole system around negotiating, 33 awesome negotiating tips and techniques for investors. Some of you guys probably have it. I used to throw it in as a bonus with the what to say and what to do system for a while. But one of the tips is what? Silence is golden. So when you're listening, you're not talking. And sometimes they'll talk and then they'll pause. Okay. Now you have a choice. Do I start talking or do I stay quiet? Silence is golden. Sometimes you get to that next level by just shutting up. Just be quiet. Just let them talk, especially with sellers, especially when you can see they're going down the right avenue. You can see they're talking themselves into it. Don't interrupt them. Let them talk themselves into it. Maybe this would work out. I guess, if we could take monthly payments and, you don't cut them off and say, sure, it would work. I'll tell you how it'll work. No, silence is golden. Let them talk. Be a great listener at that point in the conversation. Negotiation is listening, and it's definitely a huge technique in negotiation. I'm starting a new journal book called B&B, Brilliant Brian's Brain. Funny. Lacey, hilarious. You guys, it wouldn't be bad to have a brunch with Brian notebook, though, with all the tips, just keeping track of the tips. Hey, if you don't keep notes, you don't remember stuff. And the whole point is that we're making constant improvement, getting a little bit smarter every day. If you tune into Brunch with Brian 4 times a week and take a little bit of notes and then review the notes, weekly or monthly, just scan through a little notebook, very helpful. You remember a lot of good tips. Good to know. Google Meet. Yes, to get everybody download Google Meet. Okay, friendly listener. There's a good one. I love that one. Friendly listener. So in the right situations, guys, you're a friendly listener. Play role of good listener. Name your roles. Yes, name your roles with an adjective and then the role. So the role is listener. What's the adjective? Not distracted listener. Guys, remember, you're playing, let's say you have kids, okay? You're playing that mom role. You're playing that dad role today at some point, depending how old your kids are, right? Isn't that a very different dad role if your kids are 16 and 17 versus 2 and 3? Yeah, it's a little kid dad versus, teenager dad. So that's a really different role. But how are you going to play that role? Are you going to be a fun dad? Are you going to be an engaged dad? Are you going to be a good listening dad? That's a great one. Boy, can you be a good listener as a dad, or do you have to always be the one talking and leading? You don't always have to lead. You can listen. Sometimes your kids can lead you, right? Let them lead too. Happy Thursday, Isabel. Great to see you. Love the longer beat. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. You like the longer ones. I can't stop myself from teaching. Good to see you, Wendy. Good to see you're still sharing. Yes, all you know. Please say hello to Lynette. I sure will. Wendy, keep coming back. I'm here every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at this same time, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Brunch with Brian, learning more and more role playing, playing your roles. Have a great day. Hey, Robert, great to see you. One of my favorite people, Robert. I'm thinking of all the Care Bears now. Care Bear, Cranky Bear. Yeah, and look at and think about the dwarfs, right? You got Dopey. Are you going to be Dopey? No, not in life. You're going to be Grumpy? No. You're going to be Doc. That means you're smart, right? They don't have smart. I guess Doc is just the smart one. But you're not sneezy. Wait, what are the good ones again? Happy. Yes, you're definitely going to be happy, right? Happy was the best dwarf. He was happy. Okay, so you choose your roles, you know. You go through life. You can play a happy dwarf. I mean, you're not a dwarf. A happy actioneer, a happy go-getter, a happy friend, a happy leader. How can we get those negotiating tips? You know what? Send me an email. You know, I don't think I'm getting emails because I tell you guys to send me emails and I'm not getting them. So listen one more time. And if I don't get this email, Noel and Kathy, please send me this email today. And if I don't get it, I will figure out what's going on here. But send me an email. I'm giving you guys a special email here just for you brunchers. It's wolfcouple@gmail.com. Okay, wolf couple. Wolf is with two F's. Wolf couple with Gmail. And whenever, that's kind of a general email that Lynette uses and I use. But if you identify, I need you to put Brian in the subject line just to make sure I get it. Because if it comes over, it might get, you know, thought of as spam or whatever. If you put Brian in the subject line, any questions you have for me, use that email, say Brian. Now you can also call 888-RICH-NOW. Write that down. I'll talk to you about the negotiating tips, guys. That is really good. I do really. I'm a nerd. I have several thick notebooks full of Brunch with Brian techniques and other event notes. Well, that's great. Guys, talk to Isabel. Guys, I love a note buddy. When you are at an event, especially a Zoom event, look for someone else who's got their camera on and who's taking good notes. And then reach out to them, find them on LinkedIn, find them on Facebook or whatever. And whenever you go on a Zoom event, make sure you got your first name, your last name, and your city so people can actually find you in your Zoom name. Okay. That way people can go on, and make sure you're on LinkedIn. And make sure on LinkedIn it says, I buy and sell houses all around the area. I help sellers in all situations. I pay full price for houses, those kind of things. Okay. So that's good tips to connect you with people. Yeah. And guys, the more notes you keep, and now here's the one problem. If you have tons and tons of notes, but you never look back at them, then they're less helpful. So the idea is at some point you're kind of reviewing and looking back at your notes, accessing them. Always had a notebook. That's great. Yes, you still want one with just Brian's brilliant brain. I'm 7 different roles. Okay, just 7? Just 7 roles? I'm guessing you have about 100 roles in you. But here's the thing, guys. I want you to identify your primary roles. Now, you're a husband or you're a wife if you're married. You're a mom or a dad if you got kids. And you got to define those roles. And they'll shift. You know, you're not always, sometimes you're out with the kids and you go to a baseball game. I just went to a baseball game with my son. In that role, I'm fun dad. I'm up cheering and hollering and everything. Okay. But sometimes, you know, we got to talk about what he works with us. So sometimes we got to talk about this house. Okay. Well, what's the deal with the house? Did we find someone we have a property right now that we're trying to find a lease purchase tenant buyer, but it's a very expensive house and we're looking for someone to pay $39.95 a month. So that's a little more challenging, and we're looking for a huge non-refundable option deposit. So we just got that house back. So if I'm talking to them about one of the properties, obviously I'm not fun dad. I'm almost like, effective coworker or effective colleague, because we're working together. I'm not his boss. Well, I am his boss, aren't I? Yeah, I am. But I don't treat him like I'm his boss. I kind of treat him like we're working together on the same team. you know, although obviously I have this final say on everything. But guys, definitely try to start to understand what roles you're playing, and whatever it says on your business card, that's a role, whatever role you're playing for your company and whatever they're paying you for. Okay. Always send emails. Okay. To the Gmail. Will do. Thank you, Brian. Yes, thank you. And I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Scatter different places. Yes, if you're taking notes, guys, they're no good if they're all over the place. You never look at them again. Okay, 7 to 10 a day. That's good. 7 to 10 a day, rolls. Yes. Okay, one more tip here. Noel, I'm psychophrenic, rolls. Psychophrenic. I'm not sure I know what that means. I'm a pretty smart guy. I don't know if I've ever heard that term before. I'm going to have to look that one up. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for today. Awesome. Lots of great information. What's our affirmation for today? I'm a what kind of listener? I'm a motivated listener. I'm motivated to be a great listener because I know how much it helps me. Okay, I'm a motivated listener on 3. Ready? 3 times on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm a motivated listener. I'm a motivated listener. I'm a motivated listener. Yeah. All right. Good job. 3 deep breaths. Hold it a little bit and then exhale. Good. Feels so good. Another deep breath. Big smile and let it out. And one more. This gets you invigorated. Good job, everybody. All right. So until I see you tomorrow, what are you going to do? You're going to keep expecting success, you're going to keep expecting success, getting awesome training from the Wolf Couple, and taking action.